The Chicago White Sox lost to the Kansas City Royals Monday night by a score of 2-1. It was that classic lifeless Chicago White Sox offense that we have unfortunately gotten to know here in 2022. Despite out hitting the Royals, the White Sox could not generate any power. And that was a real shame because Michael Kopech deserved so much better than what he got. The Sox did make a trade before the game and acquired some bullpen help, but now they need to focus on the offense before the trade deadline expires.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong die-hard Chicago White Sox fan recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The White Sox had 10 hits, but 9 of them were singles. Michael Kopech made a couple mistakes, but pitched pretty well. And Rick Hahn actually made a baseball trade to help our White Sox. The Sox are 51-51, 3 games back in the AL Central. Minnesota and Cleveland won their games Monday night. Sox, of course, lost to the Royals 2-1. The White Sox were trying for their third consecutive win at home. Okay, I'm going to repeat that because I could not believe this when I read it. The Chicago White Sox this season, 2022, have not won 3 games in a row at home. They were trying for that Monday night. They failed. They're still searching for that. That right there, that does not sound like a team that is ready to go all in and get Shohei Ohtani or Soto, make a big splash because they think they are this close to getting to the World Series. Frank Thomas talked about it in the pregame on NBC Sports Chicago. You know, it's better sometimes to be lucky than good. You, of course, have heard that saying. And the White Sox are lucky that they are in a bad division. A division that it just seems like nobody wants to run away with. The Sox are hanging around. There's, of course, a lot of baseball left, and we've talked about the last 9 games of the season. 6 of them are against the Minnesota Twins. Who is going to separate themselves? Because right now, the Sox, taking a couple steps forward, a few back. They are just a 500 team, and frankly, I don't know what addition to this team that they can make will separate them. Perhaps it can get them as the front runner in the AL Central, but we know that that's not the end goal. We're going to talk about trade deadline stuff, deals that were made, were not made. Of course, Kopech's outing in the anemic offense. But first things first, some news and notes. And, I'm still processing Dylan Cease's performance on Sunday and really the last 2 months. Dylan Cease is the first White Sox pitcher with consecutive months with an ERA under 1.00 since 1913. Of course, with a minimum of 25 innings pitched. He has a 2.01 ERA for the season. June and July for Cease have looked like this: 11 starts, 9-2, an ERA of 0.57, 85 strikeouts, and only 4 earned runs. Opponents are slashing 189, 278, and 278. Of course, Dylan Cease was the AL Pitcher of the Month for June. If he wins for July, then he'll be the first White Sox pitcher to ever win back-to-back months. Luis Robert did not play on Monday. He did not play at all in the Oakland series. We had heard originally that, when he went on that maybe IL or the rehab stint, the cold symptoms, the dizziness, the lightheadedness. Well, he might be back for the Oakland series. Well, that didn't happen. And then, well, maybe he'll be back Monday for that Kansas City series. And that didn't happen. It just seems like nobody really knows what's going on. James Fegan from The Athletic, he tweeted about the situation before the game. Said this, Tony La Russa said it's unlikely Luis Robert plays in the series. He said Robert was feeling better yesterday to the point that Wednesday might be possible, but it's unlikely. He said it's undetermined if Robert will head back to Charlotte at any point. That too seems unlikely. It does not sound like anybody knows what's going on. Only speculation. Is it something more than just a head cold? But I hope it's not anything terribly serious. Of course, right? The way he was going, the offense, the danger that he provides with a lineup that sorely needs some danger. I guess stay tuned on Robert information. Trade deadline. This is what La Russa had said on the trade deadline. If the front office is trying, that's good enough for us. If something happens, good. If not, good. Clear as mud there. White Sox did make a trade before Monday's game. They sent Reese McGuire to the Boston Red Sox for left-handed relief pitcher Jake Diekman. So Reese McGuire acquired via trade way back right before the season, and then leaves via trade. The Sox were looking for bullpen help, preferably a lefty, since we don't know what's happening with Aaron Bummer. Tanner Banks is really the only guy we've got there. Jake Diekman, 35 years old, was with Oakland for 4 years prior to joining the Red Sox this season. Here are Diekman's numbers this year. 5-1. He's pitched 38 and a third innings, 4.23 ERA, 1.49 Whip, 51 strikeouts, and 30 walks in those 38 innings. Diekman has had 10 walks in 12 and a third innings pitched in July. Not good there. Giving up 5 home runs. Lefties, however, are hitting 188 against him. So, a serviceable left-handed reliever, what we all kind of envisioned was going to happen. Is there another deal to be made on the pitching front? We definitely hope offensively, but I'm wondering if there's going to be another arm acquired by the deadline. I don't know if you got caught up in this Shohei Ohtani frenzy that was going around social media yesterday throughout the day. John Heyman wrote an article that said the White Sox were on a short list of teams that made a serious offer for Shohei Ohtani, but the Angels have decided to hold on to him. I don't know how much you believed of that. Personally, I thought that was a joke. I did not read too much into it at all. The source, John Heyman, and what do the White Sox really have to offer? I mean, they must have been ripping a lot of guys from their current roster, if at all. That was a credible report. But I don't, even with Shohei Ohtani, and yes, of course, you want Shohei Ohtani on your team. I mean, he would have to be completely shouldering the load. This offense is just absolutely anemic. Frankie Montas, a guy that we thought maybe was going to be coming to the Sox at some point. A lot of rumors early on before the season, deals with Oakland. Frankie Montas, he goes to the New York Yankees. The Yankees extremely active. Houston, very active. Nothing yet from the Twins. Haven't heard anything yet from them unless it's a late night deal, but keeping eyes on that. St. Louis Cardinals go after Jose Quintana and got him. So there's another arm off the board. Again, trade deadline, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, Tuesday. And remember, this is what Rick Hahn had to say about all the happenings. But this will be a fun week from the standpoint of playing different ideas, and hopefully we find a way to make this team better. So much Hahn speak. I do think they're trying, but look, I don't think this team is going to get just unbelievably better before the trade deadline. And again, what moves can the Sox really make with the assets that they have that put them now in the Yankees and Houston conversation? I mean, what the Yankees and the Astros have done just on Monday to an already pretty stacked team. The Sox are not in that conversation at all. The Sox are after the division, a very weak division, and then you get in and then you see what happens. Usually when a pitcher gives up only 2 runs in 7 innings, well, that's a good thing, but not with this White Sox offense. Despite a couple of mistakes, I'm going to tell you why you should be very excited about Kopech's outing. More on that in a moment. If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you are depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There's a new flavor. Delicious, indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. That's right, Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to your new favorite cookie dough chunk puffs. Have a light and chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. All the joys of eating cookie dough without the hassle of making it. Plus, it's healthy for you. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories, and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Run to built.com to snag a box for you and the family. It will be the perfect treat, or you can find a really good hiding place and just hoard them for yourself. Like all Built Bars, the new cookie dough chunk puff is covered in 100% real chocolate. That means they're healthy and tasty. Chocolate covered cookie dough with light, fluffy texture. What's great about Built is that all of their bars are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. Eat something that tastes good and is good for you. You're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puff, whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or you just need to grab a quick bite. Built is the perfect protein bar, and they taste better than a candy bar. Ditch the calories, fat, and sugar. Grab yourself a Built bar. Go to built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. The MLB trade deadline is August 2nd, and Locked On MLB has all the breakdowns. Locked On White Sox will have rapid reactions to any move made. Make sure you have subscribed to Locked On White Sox on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you get notified when each episode premieres. Michael Kopech's last start was July 26th in Colorado, a very tough place to pitch. It was, of course, his first time pitching in Coors Field. He went 5 1/3 innings, only gave up 6 hits, 0 earned runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. A solid outing for Kopech. So how was he going to follow up? Now, first inning traditionally has been a little difficult for Kopeck. We know it has been for Giolito, and there's a few other pitchers in there. Not uncommon, but for Kopeck, it's been a bit of a problem, and then he settles down. Almost a completely different pitcher. On Monday night, the first inning did not give Kopeck any problem. 0 hits, 0 walks, only 7 pitches. Second inning, he gave up a leadoff double and some good defense from the legend, Leury Garcia. Kopeck was hitting 98 miles per hour, a strikeout, a flyout, no damage. That was a bit of a theme. Got some pretty nice defense from Andrew Vaughn in right field in the third inning. Vaughn made a play up against that netting down the line. Kopeck was in the zone. He was attacking. If you watched it, you saw, there was a snap to his arm almost. Kind of difficult to articulate or describe, but it just felt like he was very fluid, playing around with the low area of the zone, attacking, a lot of strikes. Fourth inning is when things he got into a little bit of problems. Salvador Perez, a guy that can beat the Sox in so many different ways, absolutely demolished a baseball to the fan deck out in center field. And it was 1-0 at Kansas City. Thankfully, just a solo shot. But that home run went 452 feet. And if you haven't been to the ballpark in a while, or maybe you were listening on the radio, or maybe you were just trying to catch up and you didn't see the replay, go ahead and rewatch this or watch it for the first time, this Salvi Perez home run. This was Jim Thome blackout game 2008 territory. This was an absolute bomb. And it almost looked effortless. It kind of looked like it was going to be a pop-up. You couldn't tell from the TV. He destroyed it. Fifth inning, Kopeck got into some trouble, but bailed out by a nice double play. After 5 innings, Kopeck gave up 4 hits, only 1 run, that home run, 0 walks, 2 strikeouts. He was at 66 pitches after 5. That's great. Sixth inning, another White Sox killer, Whit, Merrifield with a solo home run. Merrifield, man, he is a guy that I would love to have on the White Sox. Solid second baseman. He's got some power. 2-0 Royals after the 6th. The 7th inning, some more trouble brewing. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. Kopeck at 97 pitches. La Russa leaving him in, and he gets out of the jam. Kopeck's final line, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, only 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and it was those 2 solo home runs. His ERA down to 3.12. He threw 100 pitches on the nose. 8th inning, Jose Ruiz came in. And 9th inning, Jimmy Lambert. Boy, has he been great as of late in some tough high leverage situations. You never thought you'd be seeing Ruiz and Lambert in these spots, but Kelly, Graveman, and Hendricks went Sunday, and it's just rare where they go back to back. So Ruiz and Lambert got the job done. Kopeck deserved so much better than what he got. He really got nothing. And a solid outing. Yeah, you don't want guys like Perez to constantly beat you, but he did. And if you're going to get beat, he gave up a long home run. Merrifield, another pesky Royal. But, it was the problem with Sox offense. The silver lining you take away is that was a great follow-up outing from Michael Kopech. And yeah, it was against the Royals, but they can be dangerous. You never know. It's when you catch a team, right? And I thought Kopeck, he did exactly what we needed him to do. And if we can keep that rolling, the pitching is just got to hold on right now as the offense hopefully picks it up. I mean, the Sox are a 500 team doing mediocre things, and their offense once again cold. I mean, it's just a bad time to have another power outage. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment. So it's a new month, of course, and Jose Abreu in August has been a beast throughout his career. He hits .335, 56 home runs, and a .994 OPS. Those numbers are by far the best numbers in any month for Jose Abreu. Sox, of course, hit 2 home runs on Sunday in that finale with Oakland. It was another warm day on the south side on Monday. Perhaps, maybe continuing with that power surge. Sox 16-3 when they hit multiple home runs in a game. Again, no Roberts on Monday night, but Eloy Jimenez started in his 4th game in a row, so that's a good sign. First inning, you've got left-handed pitcher Daniel Lynch on the hill for Kansas City. He went 6 innings and gave up nothing against the Sox back in late April. We've seen him before. Typically, the White Sox will hit a left-handed pitcher pretty well. We want to see a lefty on the hill. It wasn't the case, though. Daniel Lynch carved us up pretty well. Andrew Vaughn had a single past the shortstop in the first inning. That was it. Nothing in the second inning. And I'm watching this game and thinking, how can a move, even one offensive move, really change this team at all and get them into the AL elite category? Unless there are guys like Yasmani Grandal, Moncada, Tim Anderson, Jimenez, Robert comes back healthy. You need so many guys to start reaching their potential and start catching fire, and then bring on, a guy that can really also help out and shoulder the load for maybe a guy like Abreu. But it is just painful to watch this White Sox offense at times, and Monday was one of it. Third inning, Tim Anderson with some 2-out offense, Moncada with a base hit. You got runners at the corner for Vaughn, and he pops out to short right field. After 3 innings, the Sox had 3 hits, all singles, 0 walks, and struck out 5 times. Sixth inning, here's your extra base hit of the night, Andrew Vaughn with a leadoff double, and then nothing to show for it. Yasmani Grandal ended the inning. And if he could start turning it around at some point, that would be great. We've talked on this podcast, and I'm sure you have referenced, to other Sox friends in your life. Hey, Yasmani Grandal had a great second half in 2021. What if we get that? That's like almost an addition at the trade deadline. Right now, I'm not seeing it. He looks lost. Seventh inning, Sox got some offense. The legend, Lurie Garcia and Seby Zavala providing the offense. First and third, nobody out. Sheets hitting for Engel, sac fly, 2-1 Kansas City, and that's all the Sox could get. In the ninth, Sheets had a 1-out hit, and then Anderson hit into a double play. Sox final line, 2 runs, 10 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, only 1 extra base hit. And again, it was that double by Andrew Vaughn. Sox were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Lucas Giolito heads to the mound on Tuesday night. Sox looking to bounce back, and hopefully there will be some new additions to talk about. Thank you so much for making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast absolutely everywhere you find your podcast. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. Now make your second listen the Locked On MLB podcast. MLB expert Paul Francis Sullivan brings humor, passion, and unique perspective on every team and the biggest stories around the league. Follow the #1 daily league-wide podcast, Locked On MLB, on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up on the next episode, I'll recap Lucas Giolito's outing and hopefully be talking about a White Sox winner. Appreciate you making time for the Locked On White Sox podcast. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.